And she was hotter than a $2 pistol. She was the fastest thing around. Long and lean, every young man's dream. She turned every head in town. Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mike, and this is a place where I show you the easiest way that I know how to play your favorite old country songs. Today I'd like to show you a really fun song by George Jones. It was written by Gary Gentry. It's called the Corvette Song. And it's in the key of D. It has a D chord, an A chord, a G chord, and that's 3 chords in total. It has 2 verses. It begins in a verse, actually, and the chorus plays 3 times. There's also a solo break in the middle, a 4-bar solo break. If you have people with you that can play a solo, that's great. If not, you can just do a quick turnaround. That's just a short and quick break. And the intro is very short as well. It's just a D, A, D. So the strum pattern that I like to use with this and many other songs is alternating bass notes, which means like you're picking first. Pick, down, up, down, up, pick. Down, up, down, up, pick. And what alternating bass notes means is that you're picking one note and then doing your strum, and then you're picking a different note. You're alternating between the two. So the first one is the 3rd string down. If you're in a D chord, the first note I'm picking is the 3rd string down, and then my strum, and then I'm alternating to the 2nd string down. Going back again to the first one, strum, and then the second one. So you're alternating, and that's when anyone says I'm alternating between bass notes, that's it. So beginning from the top, the intro is quick, and there's not much to it. So again, you could start the intro and play it. It's just a D, and then an A, and then a D, or you could skip the intro altogether like I mentioned before, and just start singing. I stopped off at the quicksand. So I'm going to show you with the intro. So D, nice and slow, D, and then A, back to D, and then start singing, verse 1. I stopped off at the quicksand. Down to A for some beer and back to D, cigarettes. Here's a G. The old man took my back to D, money, as he stared at my chord A. He back to D. He said I had one like her son in 1960 G, till the man down at A, the bank, took her from me. So you've done it. You've completed the verse for the Corvette Song. Now we go right into the chorus, and it goes like this in a D. And she was, strum once, hotter than a $2, strum again. Pistol, she was the G. Now we start a normal strum. Fastest thing, back to D. G, long and lean, every D, young man's dream. She turned every head in A. She was D, built and fun, handle son. Glad that, get ready for the G, you dropped in. She reminds me of A, I love back D. Okay, now we're into the solo break, which is 4 bars, and I'll count it with you, and then you decide if you want to use this solo or skip through. For those who'd like to play the solo, beginning in a D, nice and slow. G, back to D, and then G again, A, and then back to D. And that's a solo break. For those who don't want to play the solo break and just do a quick turnaround, it's like this, in a D, and then A, back to D. Now we start into the second verse, in a D, nice and slow. So I D in my keys and said, here, A, take her 4 back to D. Then a G, the old man scratched his D. Then he looked at me and A grinned. He said, D, son, you just don't understand. It's not the car I G, it's the brunette in your A that turns me D. And she was chorus. And again with the chorus, I like to do that. I like to do a stop with just a strum. And then we'll do another one strum and then into the G, start strumming again. I like to do that because it just adds excitement to the chorus when the chorus comes around. And it just adds some emphasis to the beginning of it. And it's fun to play. So let's try it with that stop. So in a D, beginning of the second chorus, and she was strum, hotter than a $2 strum again. Pistol, she was the, and then G to start playing. Fastest thing, back to D. G again, long and lean every D. Young man's dream. She turned every head in a town. D, she was built fun and old son. I'm glad you dropped G. She reminds me of the A, one I love back D. So now the chorus again, and with the stop, if you like to use the stop, with a strum, and she was hotter than a $2 pistol, she was the G. Fastest thing, back to D. G again, long and lean every D. Young man's dream, she turned every head in a town. D, she was built fun and old son. Glad that you dropped G. She reminds me of the A I loved back then, D. And here's the end of the song, and you'll repeat the last line, which was, she reminds me of the one I loved back then. We'll try that. So let's do the repeat. Yes, she G reminds me of A, the one I love back, D, A, D. That quick ending that we use in so many songs. So the singing and going up at the end, is kind of the final bow of the chorus and the end of the song. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't, depending on how strong my voice feels to me that day. Do I feel like I can hit that? Because it's tough to get up there for some of us. So that's when I gauge whether I want to do it or not. So that's it. We did it. There was verse 1, then a chorus, then a solo, then verse 2, and a chorus, and another chorus with the repeat of the last line. Yes, she reminds me of the one I loved back then. Do 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 do. So that song is a lot of fun to play, especially when it's sped up. And if you have somebody playing electric guitar or even acoustic beside you playing the solo, I guess any instrument that's playing the melody makes that song a lot of fun too. So let's play the song together, sped up at a pretty good pace. And I hope you can keep up and play along with me and have a lot of fun with this song. I stopped off at the Quick Sack for some beer and cigarettes. The old man took my money as he stared at my Corvette. He said I had one just like her son, 1963, till the man down at the bank took her from me. And she was hotter than a $2 pistol. She was the fastest thing around. Long and lean, every young man's dreams, turned every head in town. She was built and fond, handle son, I'm glad you dropped in. Well, she reminds me of the one I loved back then. So I handed him my keys and said, here, take her for a spin. The old man scratched his head, then he looked at me and grinned. He said, son, you just don't understand. It's not the car I want, it's the brunette in your vet that turns me on. I had one that was hotter than a $2 pistol. She was the fastest thing around. Long and lean, every young man's dream. She turned every head in town. She was built and fond, handle son, glad you dropped in. She reminds me of the one I loved back then. Lord, she was hotter than a $2 pistol. She was the fastest thing around. Long and lean, every young man's dreams, turned every head in town. She was built and fond, handle son, glad you dropped in. She reminds me of the one I loved back then. She reminds me of the one I loved back then. Thanks for watching, everybody.